Have you ever wondered why narcissists, who are known for their need for attention and admiration, sometimes fall into eerie silence? It seems counterintuitive, right? How could someone who thrives on validation and applause suddenly become quiet, leaving everyone around them puzzled? This contradiction has fascinated psychologists, and it's something few people understand fully. If you're curious about this intriguing behavior, stick around, because what we're about to explore may surprise you. You'll see that their silence isn't what it seems on the surface. It's not accidental. It's part of a deeper strategy that makes them even more dangerous. And the more you know, the better prepared you'll be. Before we jump into the juicy details, take a second to subscribe, like, and share this video if you find this topic interesting. By doing so, you'll help others uncover these hidden dynamics too. Now let's get started and dive into the mystery of why narcissists stay silent. Spoiler alert, it's not always about insecurity. There are darker motives at play. Ready? Let's go. At first glance, it might seem strange for a narcissist to stay quiet. After all, aren't they supposed to be the ones dominating conversations and steering attention toward themselves? But silence, when used deliberately, becomes one of the most powerful tools in their arsenal. It's like a chess move, subtle but effective. They can stay silent for weeks, maybe even months. And while you're left confused, wondering if they've forgotten you or lost interest, they're sitting back, calculating their next move. This silence can come in many forms, from disappearing without explanation to withholding communication in personal relationships. But rest assured, silence is rarely without purpose in a narcissist's world. When a narcissist goes silent, one of their underlying motives is control. In relationships, for instance, they might use silence as a way to destabilize the other person. Imagine being in a close relationship, and suddenly your partner, who once showered you with attention, goes completely cold. No texts, no calls, just silence. This isn't just emotional withdrawal, it's punishment. By pulling away without warning, the narcissist leaves you desperate for answers. They know exactly what they're doing, and they want you to chase them, beg for an explanation, and try to win back their approval. Every moment you spend trying to decode their silence is a victory for them. It reinforces their sense of power, because now they know you're hooked. On a broader scale, silence becomes a manipulation tactic that serves multiple functions. It's a way for narcissists to protect their image, while simultaneously gathering information. Let's say they've had a public disagreement or argument that didn't go in their favor. Rather than fighting back immediately, they might retreat into silence. But this silence isn't surrender. It's a waiting game. They're watching, observing, and waiting for the perfect moment to strike back when you least expect it. In this way, silence becomes a strategic pause, giving them time to rebuild their narrative and plot their next move. Narcissists are masters at rewriting stories, and they'll use their silence to ensure the final version makes them look like the victim or hero. Another reason narcissists stay silent is to provoke insecurity in others. Relationships with narcissists often feel like emotional roller coasters, with highs that leave you breathless and lows that leave you anxious. Silence fits perfectly into this cycle of emotional turmoil. When they suddenly pull back, it creates a void that leaves you questioning your worth. Did you do something wrong? Are they upset with you? Will they come back? The uncertainty gnaws at you, driving you to seek closure from them. And that's exactly what they want. This dynamic reinforces their control, because the more desperate you are for their attention, the more power they hold over you. Silence also serves as a defense mechanism. Despite their grandiose exterior, narcissists are incredibly sensitive to criticism or anything that threatens their self-image. When they encounter situations that might expose their flaws, they retreat into silence to avoid confrontation. This is especially true in relationships where they feel cornered by accountability. Instead of owning up to mistakes or apologizing, they disappear, leaving you with unresolved conflicts. In their minds, silence allows them to preserve their image without having to confront uncomfortable truths. It's a form of emotional self-preservation, an escape hatch when the pressure gets too high. Have you noticed that a narcissist's silence often follows an intense period of love bombing or emotional engagement? This pattern is no coincidence. It's part of a broader strategy, known as the push-pull dynamic. The narcissist draws you in, making you feel special and cherished, only to yank it all away suddenly. This silence after affection serves a dual purpose. It confuses you and reinforces their control. When they finally break the silence and re-engage, it feels like a reward, making you even more dependent on their approval. And each time this cycle repeats, their grip on you tightens, without you even realizing it. But here's the twist: silence doesn't just affect their victims. It serves the narcissist too. It gives them time to regroup, plan their next move, and recharge emotionally. Maintaining their false persona is exhausting, and silence offers a break from the performance. Think of it as a reset button. When they return, they're ready to resume the act with renewed energy. This pause also allows them to shift blame subtly. By staying silent, they force you to fill the void, often leading you to apologize or take responsibility for things that weren't even your fault. In the narcissist's world, silence is never wasted. Even in professional settings, narcissists use silence to their advantage. They might withhold information from colleagues, or go silent during critical discussions to create tension. This type of behavior keeps everyone on edge, making others feel uncertain about where they stand. The goal is to create an environment where people seek their approval, reinforcing the narcissist's sense of superiority. Whether at work or in personal life, their silence manipulates the dynamics of the situation, ensuring they stay one step ahead. Interestingly, the longer the silence lasts, the more powerful it becomes. Narcissists understand that prolonged silence heightens your anxiety, making you more vulnerable to their influence. And when they finally break that silence, it's often with an act of kindness or generosity, leaving you feeling grateful and relieved. This calculated reappearance resets the emotional balance in their favor, drawing you deeper into their web. Over time, this cycle of silence and re-engagement becomes addictive, making it harder for you to break free. So, why do narcissists stay silent for so long? It's not because they've forgotten you or lost interest. It's because silence serves them in ways that words never could. It gives them control, creates confusion, and keeps you emotionally off balance. It's a strategy they use to maintain power, without expending energy. And the more you try to interpret their silence, the more power you give them. Now that you understand the role of silence in a narcissist's behavior, you can begin to see through their tactics. Knowledge is power, and the more you understand these hidden dynamics, the less likely you are to fall victim to their games. If this video resonated with you or helped shed some light on a confusing situation, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. You never know who might need to hear this today. Thank you so much for watching. Stay aware, stay strong, and remember, silence isn't always what it seems. Until next time.
Believing that being straightforward, amicable, cooperative, understanding, and compassionate will help you prevail against a narcissist, especially when avoiding contact isn't an option, such as during co-parenting or a divorce, can set you up for failure. Narcissists are experts at exploiting your weaknesses, hindering your ability to be genuine. To counter them, you need a strategy to outsmart and counter-manipulate them. But what kind of strategies are we talking about? Let's dive in and find out. Welcome back to the Narcissist Exposed channel. In today's episode, we will uncover fresh tactics to outwit a narcissist and protect yourself effectively. If this topic piques your interest and you want to delve deeper, please subscribe before we get started. Your subscription aids in spreading awareness about narcissistic abuse. Step 1. Always try to stay 2 steps ahead. When dealing with a narcissist, think of it as a complex game of chess. Staying 2 steps ahead rather than just 1 is crucial. Understanding their typical moves before you make your own is the first step. Then, You must be prepared with your countermoves to block them effectively, cornering them strategically. Narcissists tend to exhibit predictable behaviors, getting very angry, acting out, and lying. While you may not always predict their actions precisely, you can generally anticipate their patterns. Use your knowledge of their behavior against them without letting them realize it. To illustrate this, consider that nearly all narcissists are highly concerned with their public image. They strive to make others perceive them as better than they truly are, whether as a great parent, spouse, or victim in the situation. Your task is to leverage their need for a positive image to make them act in ways they wouldn't ordinarily choose. By understanding and manipulating their desire to appear favorable, you can influence their behavior to your advantage. To give you an example, suppose you want them to agree to co-parent. They project an image to the world of being a great parent who always puts the kids first. You need to use this to your advantage. How can you do that? Frame your requests around the well-being of the children and how they will benefit. Essentially, create a situation where not agreeing with your terms would contradict their projected image. Set up an if and then ye scenario. If you are a good father, then you will agree to these terms. However, be cautious. You can't just blatantly state, if you are a good father, then you will do this. You need to be subtle. Simply imply that this is what a good parent would do. For instance, if I were in your position, I would do this. This approach gently leads them into a situation where agreeing with you is the only option that aligns with their desired image. By doing so, you can ensure your children's safety and maximize your time with them. This strategy also helps protect your children from potential abuse and supports their well-being. Be very clear about what you want, why you want it, and how you can achieve it. Step 2. Use a drip-feed approach. It's unrealistic to keep disagreeing with a narcissist's ego and expect them to eventually agree with you. For instance, if you're seeking $2 million in alimony, they won't just hand it over unless you strategically provide a steady flow of information or concessions. This tactic plays into the narcissist's desire to feel superior and victorious. The key is to make them think they've won while you still achieve your goals. If you know you won't get exactly what you ask for, start by asking for more than what you actually want. They'll likely counter with a number closer to your true goal, thinking they've bested you. What does this drip-feed strategy entail? It involves making them believe they've won because of their supposed superiority and intelligence. In reality, you're guiding their actions by exploiting their fear of failure. This reinforces the importance of staying 2 steps ahead and providing them with a controlled flow of information. Sometimes, you may need to boost their ego, but do this cautiously. For instance, if you text them praise or call them a good parent, consider how this could be used against you in court. They might twist your words to claim you genuinely believe they are a good parent, presenting your text as evidence. Therefore, be strategic with your ego boosts. Agree to things that benefit you and your children, but always frame it around the kids' well-being, never about yourself. Understand that narcissists won't willingly help you. They aim to hurt you. Recognize that your desire to get along, be straightforward, and end things amicably is a fantasy in this context. In this battlefield, every move must be calculated to avoid triggering a negative reaction. By navigating this carefully, you can steer the situation in a way that protects your interests and those of your children. Step 3. Be unpredictable. When it's time to make your moves, don't reveal everything you know. Maintain an air of mystery. Keep your plans and strategies close to your chest. You should have various tools and tactics at your disposal, but never let them know your full arsenal. If they discover your plan, they will find a way to counter it immediately. They don't care about fairness. They'll use any means necessary to win. Their mantra is, if I can, I will. They don't worry about legality or morality. To keep them off balance, be unpredictable. Don't let them read your emotions or thoughts. When you become unpredictable, it makes them uneasy. Handle things casually until the right moment, then strike while the iron is hot. Reveal who they truly are with documented evidence of their behavior and personality traits. Show the court their true nature: angry, controlling, punitive, and manipulative. Your unpredictability can catch them off guard and provoke them to reveal their true selves, undermining their facade. When they treat you badly, resist the urge to react emotionally. They want to manipulate your feelings and use you as their tool. The real battle starts within. You must master your internal response before you can effectively handle the external conflict. Stay vigilant, stay quiet, and watch as they expose themselves. Step 4. Set clear boundaries for yourself. Establish firm boundaries, and commit to not crossing them. Unlike narcissists, who struggle with setting limits, you can and must set them for yourself. Remember, you cannot control their actions. If they know something bothers you, they will exploit it. Therefore, establish your own rules and stick to them. What does this mean? It means identifying your non-negotiables and knowing when to walk away. Learn to say no firmly. For instance, if they are being abusive, yelling, calling names, you can respond with, I'm not ready to have this conversation with you right now. It seems you're not in the right frame of mind to discuss this. I will come back to this when you are ready. This allows you to maintain your boundaries without directly challenging them. By setting clear boundaries, you reclaim control. You no longer depend on the narcissist's behavior. Instead, your actions are based on your own principles. For example, if they show up at your house unexpectedly, you already know your response. Whether it's calling the police or another action to protect yourself. Stick to the limits you set for yourself. This is what sets you apart and empowers you. That's it for today's chapter. Thank you for listening and reading. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I'll talk to you again soon. Until then, let the healing begin and continue.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to our channel. If you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and click the bell icon so you never miss an update. Today, we're diving into a crucial topic that affects many people dealing with toxic relationships, and what every narcissist desires when you go no contact. This is a must-watch for anyone looking to reclaim their peace and sanity from a narcissist's grip. So, let's get started. Before we delve into the desires of a narcissist when you go no contact, it's essential to understand what narcissism is. Narcissistic personality disorder, NPD, is a mental condition characterized by an inflated sense of self-importance, a deep need for excessive attention and admiration, troubled relationships, and a lack of empathy for others. However, behind this mask of extreme confidence lies a fragile self-esteem that's vulnerable to the slightest criticism. The concept of no contact. Going a no-contact is a strategy often recommended for those dealing with narcissists, especially in intimate or family relationships. It involves cutting off all forms of communication and interaction with the narcissist to protect oneself from further emotional harm. This step is crucial for the victim's healing process, allowing them to regain control over their life and emotional well-being. What every narcissist desires when you go no contact. When you decide to go no contact, a narcissist's desires can be boiled down to several key points. 1. Reaction and attention. Narcissists thrive on attention, whether it's positive or negative. When you go no contact, they often crave a reaction from you. They might try various tactics to provoke you into breaking the silence, such as sending provocative messages, spreading rumors, or even showing up unannounced. Any reaction from you, even anger or frustration, feeds their need for attention and reinforces their sense of importance. 2. Control and power. Narcissists are driven by a need for control and power over others. When you sever ties, they lose a significant source of their control. This loss can be infuriating and unsettling for them. They may attempt to regain control through manipulation, such as playing the victim, guilt-tripping, or using flying monkeys, third parties, to communicate with you. Their ultimate goal is to reassert their dominance and make you feel powerless. 3. Validation and ego boost. A narcissist's ego is incredibly fragile. They require constant validation to maintain their self-esteem. Going no contact denies them this validation, leading them to feel insignificant and unimportant. They might seek out new sources of admiration or try to hoover you back into their orbit with charm and promises of change. Their desire is to restore their self-image and reinforce their belief in their own superiority. 4. Revenge and punishment. Some narcissists might desire revenge when you go no contact. They see your departure as a direct challenge to their authority and a blow to their ego. This can trigger a desire to punish you for daring to leave. They may spread lies, attempt to sabotage your reputation, or engage in smear campaigns. Their aim is to hurt you and reassert their perceived dominance.